Dimension Duels. During the 20th anniversary movie, Dark Side of Dimensions, a character known as Yugioh appeared and introduced us to a new alternate style of dueling, known as Dimension Dueling. This alternate style of dueling could only be achieved through the use of the Quantum Cube, which, according to Sarah, was the secret 8th Millennium item. What can the Quantum Cube do? Well, it could disintegrate people. If you really want to do that, can send people to another dimension, and in that dimension they will slowly begin to disintegrate, but they will be surrounded by like loads of memories and things like that, so kind of cool, I guess. It does a bunch of other stuff as well, but the big thing is it can start a dimension duel. This type of dueling incorporates a few new rules that differentiates itself from the norm, and could perhaps be an interesting alternate format for you to play at home. So, with that all out the way, let's take a look at the rules of Dimension Duels. Let's go. When a dimension duel begins, the field is transported to the space between dimensions. Basically, unlike a Shadow Realm that turns everything purple, this turns everything like in a little bit of a reddish kind of hue. Makes a big like ethereal thing appear above and gives everything this cool little like glowy thing. But yeah, you're in the space between dimensions, so kind of cool. Both duelists start by drawing 5 cards, then 1 extra card to begin the turn. Both duelists start with 8,000 life points. Yes, you heard that right. Something probably common to you and me. However, in the anime, this is super rare. What's the deal? Why 8,000 life points? Well, this isn't unique just to Dimension Duels. Everything in the Dark Side of Dimensions tried to be a bit more close to the real world. So we've got more modern cards and things like that, modern summoning mechanics and everything. And of course, the big one, 8,000 life points apiece, because that's what we do in the real world. So pretty cool. Duelists' normal and special summons can be conducted as dimension summons instead. A dimension summon is still treated as the original type of summoning. The benefits of the dimension summon we'll get to in a bit, but I want to quickly address the why should it still be treated as a normal or special summon? Why did I highlight that? Well, what I mean by this is, let's just say you normal summon your silver gadget. However, you declare that the summon is a dimension summon. This means that you are doing a dimension summon. The monster summoned is classed as being dimension summoned. However, you've still summoned it through normal summoning. This means that your allotted normal summon per turn has gone, and any effect that that monster has that requires it to be normal summoned still works. For instance, Silver Gadget's effect is that when it is normal or special summoned, you can summon another monster from your hand. And so, in the context of the duel, Yugioh was still able to use this effect despite the fact it was dimension summoned. Are we following along? Good. Well, I've got the next step for you to understand. A monster special summoned can also be dimension summoned if the player so chooses. So continuing with our example, Yugioh summoned Silver Gadget. Silver Gadget special summoned a new monster from his hand, in this case Gold Gadget. However, when it was summoned, he declared that he wanted this to be a dimension summon as well. So this means now that both monsters have all the benefits and detriments of being dimension summoned. So I guess you're all wondering, what are the benefits and detriments of dimension summoning? Well, a dimension summon allows a player to normal summon without a tribute. However, they will be summoned with 0 attack and defense. Simple enough, right? You remember back in the day in the anime, where you could just summon high-level monsters without sacrifices and stuff? Well, that's pretty much what this is, except they come with 0 attack and defense. Here's an example. Kaiba began his turn by normal summoning his level 6 Crystal Dragon without any tributes, by treating the normal summon as a dimension summon. So I bet you're all thinking, kinda sucks having 0 attack and defense though. Well, when you dimension summon a monster, you can increase its attack and defense points by using Monster Spirit. You can choose any percent between 0 and 100%. Using 100% will result in the monster having its original attack and defense values. So let's clarify what I mean by this. When you dimension summon, you declare an amount of spirit that you want to pour into that monster. The amount you can pour into your monster is essentially a percentage gauge, from 0% all the way up to 100%. So you ask yourself the question, you summon your monster, what percent of spirit do you want that monster to have? For example, Kaiba's Crystal Dragon. It has an original attack of 2,500 and an original defense of 1,000. When Dimension summoned, it will have 0 attack and defense. If Kaiba chooses to use 100% Spirit, the monster will have its full attack and defense points. If instead Kaiba used 50%, then the monster's attack would be 1,250 attack and 500 defense, since that is 50% of the monster's spirit, basically. You following me? Now, if Kaiba chose to use 0% spirit, then the monster would have simply remained with no attack and defense. Now, you might be asking, why wouldn't you just always summon the monsters with 100% spirit? What even is the benefit of summoning it in a weakened state? Well, there's two big benefits. One, you can pull off some unique plays that you might not be able to do normally. I'll give you an example. Say I Dimension summoned a Cyber Dragon, and then I give it no spirit. Now, since Cyber Dragon has less than 500 attack, it meets the criteria for my machine duplication I have in my hand. So, by activating it, I can summon 2 more Cyber Dragons from my deck. And with all 3 on the field, I can Xyz summon using them, or Power Bond to make my Cyber End Dragon with 8,000 attack. A cool use of this mechanic, right? And there's a bunch of other plays you can do. However, there is a second big reason why you might want to make your monster weak. And that is, neither player receives battle damage from battles involving Dimension summoned monsters. Instead, they will take damage equal to the attack or defense of the destroyed monster, depending on the battle position. So the amount of spirit we pour into a monster makes more sense now. Do I give my Blue Eyes White Dragon 100% spirit, 3,000 attack? However, if it's destroyed, I take 3,000 damage. Or do I give it half? Give it 1,500 attack? Then if it's destroyed, I only take half as much damage. And with this mind, it also reveals a very interesting thing about Dimension summoned monsters. We have a risk-reward scenario. For example, if Blue Eyes White Dragon, summoned normally, is destroyed by battle with, say, a 3,100 attack point monster, well, the damage it would take would be 100 damage. However, if it is Dimension summoned, the damage instead is 3,000. Again, there's a lot of interesting ways you can play with this mechanic. A monster equipped with a Dimension summoned monster, or a monster that uses a Dimension summoned monster as a material for its summon, are also considered Dimension summoned monsters. Essentially meaning, if the new monster created from Dimension summoned monsters is destroyed, you apply Dimension summoned mechanics. So you don't take battle damage, instead you take the destroyed monster's attack or defense as damage instead. I want to make it clear, just in case it wasn't, you don't get any extra summons by using Dimension Summon. Say you're dueling right now, and whenever you go to normal summon, or whenever you go to special summon like you would in a normal duel, imagine a prompt appears. Would you like to treat this summon as a Dimension summon? You're not getting extra summons, you're not replacing the type of summon or anything, it's just sort of an extra thing you can add on. Also, it might be possible that Dimension duels can allow for some unique Dimension shenanigans. For example, Kaiba being able to pull Obelisk from its final resting spot, or Yugi able to manifest a Tem one final time. I mean, all these entities do exist in another dimension, so I guess it's possible. So, yeah, with pretty much all of that, it's not too confusing really, or at least I hope it's not too confusing for all of you. But that was all of the mechanics of Dimension dueling. Fun fact, by the way, throughout the entire movie, in the 3 different duels we had with Dimension summoning, not a single duelist used less than 100% spirit to summon a monster, which if you ask me, is a crying waste of a mechanic. Why not just try some different things? Oh, well, it doesn't matter, but let me know what you thought about this in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching. Catch you later. Bye everyone.